Oh, Timmy, Timmy, Timmy. You bad boy. You had it all. You swept the Golden Globes. You swept the Critics' Choice. You were the front runner. The Academy was basically printing your name on the envelope already. And then, you opened your mouth.
And I don't want to be working in ballet or opera or, things where it's like, hey, keep this thing alive, even though no one cares about this anymore. All respect to the ballet and opera people out there. I just lost 14 cents in viewership.
Look at this, Timmy. Look at this. Meanwhile, and I need you to stay with me here because this gets good, ballet companies started offering discount codes with his name on them. Opera houses sent him invitations. His own mother's former colleagues went on television to drag him. We're going to get into all of that. But first, why is this man like this? What is actually going on inside that head? What secrets lie in that lanky build, Timmy? Fine. I'll figure it out myself. You'd think, Hollywood golden boy, generational talent, probably grew up pretty comfortable, right? Well, sort of, but also extremely no. Timothée Chalamet grew up in Manhattan Plaza, which sounds fancy, but it's actually a federally subsidized apartment complex specifically designed to house struggling performing artists. So, picture this. You're a little kid, and every single morning through the walls, you can hear your neighbors rehearsing, singing scales, running lines, practicing instruments. These are real, talented, dedicated adults who gave their entire lives to their art, and a lot of them are just barely paying rent. He actually said it himself. Manhattan Plaza made him terrified of his own ambitions, scared of acting, because he'd seen up close what that life looks like. A tough lifestyle, a lot of people not doing fantastically. So somewhere deep in his brain, a little rule gets written. Commercial success is survival. Obscurity is death. No, file that away, because it'll be important later. Now here's where things get uncomfortable. Because his family wasn't just near the arts. His family basically was the arts. Let's start with his mom, Nicole Flender. Nicole Flender went to Yale University on a ballet scholarship. She danced with the New York City Ballet. She performed on Broadway. Fiddler on the Roof, Hello Dolly. She then taught ballet professionally for over 25 years. His sister Pauline, actress now, but before that, trained at the School of American Ballet. His grandmother Enid, Broadway dancer, dedicated her youth to it. His grandfather Harold, screenwriter, wrote Paris Blues, made it into a film starring Paul Newman and Sidney Poitier. And his dad rounded it all out as a French journalist and UNICEF editor, giving Timothy his European sensibilities and perfectly accented French. So this is the household. Multi-generational performing arts royalty, dance in the bloodline literally going back decades. And Timothy himself knew this. Just months before the controversy, while promoting Marty Supreme, he said in interviews, "I was always backstage at the New York City Ballet. My grandma worked there, my mother worked there, and my sister danced there, so I grew up dreaming big." He used that family history as cultural credibility, as proof that he was a real artist. And then, 3 months later, he called the whole thing irrelevant on camera. Timmy. Okay, so here's my theory, and I think the evidence genuinely backs this up. Timothée Chalamet is not lazy. The man spent 5 years preparing to play Bob Dylan, learned 40 songs, traveled to Dylan's hometown, insisted on singing live on set every single take. He started training for the Ping Pong movie in 2018, 7 years before it came out, and dragged a regulation ping pong table to the sets of 4 other films just to stay sharp. When he hosted SNL, he spent 6 figures of his own money in producing his musical performances himself, because he needed total control over every variable. This man does not half do things. So what gives? Here's the thing. Timothée Chalamet is not driven by the desire to succeed. More so, he's driven by the terror of failing. There's a difference. When you grow up watching talented people around you struggle, you don't think, I want to be great. You think, I cannot end up like that. Fear becomes the engine. This fear also explains why he dropped out of Columbia. Not because college was boring, but because debt scared him. That's his actual stated reason. Financial anxiety. From a guy who would go on to star in the biggest sci-fi franchise in years. The fear never went away, it just scaled up with the stakes. Now, flash forward to February 2026. He is in the middle of the most high-pressure Oscar campaign of his career. His brain is in full secure the win mode. Everything is getting filtered through one question. does this matter for the outcome? Movies equal massive audiences equals matters. Ballet equals smaller audiences equal doesn't matter. And he said it out loud before his social radar could stop him. You can actually watch it happen in the clip. He says it, registers the room, and then immediately goes, "All respect to the ballet and opera people out there. I just lost 14 cents in viewership." He tried to joke his way out of it, and it did not work. Now, I need you to understand the full beauty of what happened next, because this isn't just ironic, it's ridiculously ironic. In November 2025, just 3 months before the town hall, Chalamet's marketing team was promoting Marty Supreme by partnering with Misty Copeland, legendary prima ballerina of the American Ballet Theater, one of the most celebrated dancers in the world. They had her pose in a Marty Supreme windbreaker next to a childhood photo of herself as a young dancer, with the words, "Dream Big." He used ballet's cultural prestige to sell his movie about ping pong. Then in February, called it irrelevant. And then, Misty Copeland herself, the woman he literally used for his promo campaign, came out and said that without ballet and opera, Chalamet wouldn't be an actor today. The universe has a sense of humor. So what did the performing arts world do? They went absolutely feral in the most creative, petty, brilliant ways possible. The Metropolitan Opera posted a backstage video showing the hundreds of people required to run a single production. Caption: "This one's for you, T. Chalamet." The Seattle Opera offered a discount code for tickets. The code? Timothy, a direct shot at his joke about losing 14 cents in viewership. The Paris Opera pointed out that ping pong, the sport of his film, actually appears in the opera Nixon in China. They tweeted it directly at him. Ballet Austin, who was literally down the street from him during the town hall, offered free tickets to anyone named Timothy who showed their ID. And while all of this was happening, the Academy voters, who are often older, deeply protective of traditional arts, and already slightly suspicious of what they saw as an aggressively thirsty campaign, had their reason to look elsewhere. Michael B. Jordan, whose campaign for Sinners was universally described as grounded, generous, and drama-free, quietly moved into position. And the BAFTAs, which Chalamet was predicted to win, he lost to Robert Aramayo. And the SAG Awards, his fellow actors voting, he lost to Michael B. Jordan. The room, reportedly, exhaled. So, what's the lesson here? Timothée Chalamet is genuinely talented, probably one of the most prepared actors of his generation. And underneath all the Oscar campaigning and blimp rentals and jacket giveaways, there's still a kid from Manhattan Plaza who is terrified, on some level, of becoming one of those neighbors he heard through the walls. And that fear, the exact same fear that made him great, is what made him dismiss the art form his mother gave her life to, on camera in front of a live audience, while running for the biggest prize in his industry. You can be brilliant and still have blind spots. You can respect sacrifice and still disrespect people who sacrifice differently. And you can sweep every precursor award and still lose it all because you forgot that the arts community has Wi-Fi. I hope that you learned something today, Timmy. He did not learn anything. And by the way, if he wins, this video is going to be really awkward.